Now, right after the Blue Mosque, Aaron and I decided to get something to eat. So we went just down the hill and found this nice little place that was serving a mix of different types of foods. And in this place, we were told there was another American group of people. And so the waiter introduced us to these people, and they just happened to be bloggers that were traveling the world. And they invited us to sit with them. And so we had a great meal, and I was able to try lamb chops for the very first time that were just amazing. And also, Aaron went south to check out the southern part of Turkey, and I was invited to see Joe and Josie's place right by the Glacier Tower, and we decided to do an interview. And the interview is coming up next.
Hey, Vern.
Hey guys, Vern Danke here. I am in Istanbul with Joe and Jose of Joe and Jose's Journey.
JoeandJosesJourney.com.
There you go. All right, so we're here in the wonderful Istanbul, and I was invited to Joe and Jose's rooftop terrace, and I figured this would be a perfect time to do an interview. So you guys have been traveling since 2014. Is that when you started traveling?
We actually started in 2015. It took us a year and a half to liquidate everything and sell our house in Canada and all our belongings. And we actually left from Florida in May of 2015.
Wow. So you sold everything and you put together a camper van. And where did you travel from there when you finally sold everything? Where did you start to go?
We found our truck in Utah and had the truck shipped to us on a flatbed to Florida because we wanted to drive it. Then we drove the truck, a Dodge Ram 3500 single rear wheel long bed. That's what our camper was made to fit on.
Okay.
Drove it to Grass Valley, California, to then a company called XP Camper, where our camper was turned in from a truck to a camper truck, not a van, a truck.
Nice.
A
Truck
very
camper.
low profile fiberglass cool deal that goes up and down. So when you're driving, you're low profile, but when you're camped, you have enough room for a 6'6" guy to walk around in and a queen size bed inside.
Perfect.
It became our home.
That's great. So what kind of mileage did you get using that?
We put on about 50,000 miles.
Okay. And
Miles per gallon, it was diesel, and we added a 62-gallon fuel tank. So we could go long range. You were getting maybe 13 to 16 miles per gallon. We changed altitudes and terrain so much, miles per gallon really became irrelevant because we had such a long range in our fuel.
So as that became your home, you were probably saving a lot of money, even if the fuel cost was a little bit higher.
Yes, the big savings when you live in on the road like that is accommodations and restaurants, because we cooked our own food and slept in our own camper every night, except some few times we rented Airbnbs in cities, or we had family coming. We would rent a house for a month. If we liked the place, we'd stay longer. But I would say 90% of the time we were in our camper.
So you two have been together the whole time, every day.
Every day.
Wow.
We went from a 3,300 square foot, 3-level log home to a 91 square foot camper.
Oh my
truck.
gosh. Oh my gosh. So you two must get along pretty good if you're able to do that.
She's easy to get along with.
Yes,
That's
most
good.
of the time. You know, you do need your space once in a while, but yeah, it has actually brought us closer, I would
Wow.
say, since we've been traveling full time like that.
So what brought you to Istanbul now? What was the decision to come here? Was it because it's open from COVID and you can stay 90 days?
Well, after 5 years through Central and South America, we were actually in Brazil when the COVID started.
Oh boy.
And we had already made arrangements to ship our truck back to the U.S. just prior to the COVID. So we went ahead with our plans and shipped our truck maybe a week or 2 weeks before. And so the truck arrived in May of this year. And immediately we had a buyer. So we drove our truck to Colorado from Florida,
Wow.
right off the shipping container.
with 3 grandchildren.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Our last big hurrah was every year, whenever summer would come, as we drove from Alaska to Argentina, our grandchildren visited us in Guatemala.
Wow.
We took them to Galapagos in Ecuador. They
Colombia.
visited us in Colombia.
Oh my gosh.
They stayed with us on a vineyard. We did a vineyard
House sitting
with I was a dog trainer, so I took care of this guy's dogs while he went off after his harvest was done. So they visited us in Chile. Lots of places. And then when we got done with our South American tour, when we shipped our truck back and we sold it, our last hurrah was we were going to take the kids from Florida to Canada to visit, but then COVID hit.
Okay.
So it opened up a bit we were in Florida maybe 2 months before we left. Told the buyer we couldn't leave until we were clear, and when it calmed down a bit, we took the kids, drove out to Colorado, had a nice drive through the national parks, very low key, outside all the time. Stayed in a few hotels, a few places, but then got to Colorado, left the truck off with the buyer, flew back to Miami, and then we needed something else to do.
Right.
We were going to start backpacking now. Our whole life changed from overlanding to backpacking.
Ah,
Well,
interesting.
our plan after the Americas was to overland through Africa, but because of COVID again,
yeah.
everything's closed. So we went to Plan B, and actually, a friend of ours that I follow on social media, she started posting about Istanbul, and I reached out to her, and she told me how wonderful it was, and then I did a bit more research and saw that U.S. citizens were welcome, no tests, no quarantine.
Perfect.
So we say, hey, why not?
Right. Right.
And here we are. We took our visa for 90 days, and now we're here almost a month, and we just love it.
That's great.
Plus, it was a good shot. It was Miami to Istanbul, one flight.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it was a direct flight.
Which made it easier. And we want to really sightsee around to see how the roadways are, because we've changed our mode of operation. We're not shipping vehicles anymore. We're going to we'll go to Africa and buy one there,
Oh, okay.
and,
Wow.
and tour Africa in that vehicle, and then sell it in Africa.
That's a great idea.
Go to Europe and buy one in Europe and drive it through Europe, sell it again. Same with Australia. You can find vehicles that we know now what we like.
Sure.
We've learned a lot in the 5 years, and we met fantastic overlanders.
That's great.
Taught us so much. Some keep their vehicles and travel around the world. Some, like us, will just change.
Nice.
We've learned not to fall too much in love with our Casa Rodante.
There you go. There you go. So a lot of people talk about traveling, but few people actually make that step. Now, what would you guys say to those people that are thinking about, yeah, should I travel? Should I sell my things? Are there any regrets that you have? Would you do it in a heartbeat again? What do you say to those
Just
people?
do it.
Well,
Just
you know,
do it.
everybody has a different situation, whether it's financial or work related. I mean, for us, I guess it's a little easier because Joe's retired. I was still working when we decided to change our lifestyle. So I had to, make the decision. And actually, the hardest part is making the decision. Once the decision was made, it took us a year and a half to. But I think for us, what we discovered is that a much simpler lifestyle is so much cheaper. You know, we can live, the two of us, with Joe's pension. I don't get anything. I will eventually, but it's so much cheaper for us to have this lifestyle, even though you think, oh my God, you're traveling around the world, but it can be done on a very reasonable budget And we've met people from anywhere from $15 a day to $100 a day, you
Wow.
know, as a budget. So
And you have to trust your instincts. You stop looking at news of all kinds. You just listen to people that are maybe a month or two down the road from you. We started communicating with people. We're friends with people we've never met, but we know what they like to go. They know what they're looking for: clean bathrooms, a flat ground, camping wise, or and such. So we always ask each other questions: how to get your vehicle fixed, where to get it worked on, stuff like. You just trust your instincts, and you have to just go for it. Trust the countries you're in, and don't be afraid. Trust the people that are out there talking to you. From the minute we crossed the border into Mexico, within I think 2 weeks, I was okay. This is because from the minute we got there, we didn't know where to go.
Right.
We were still learning how to navigate per se. Jose's she can navigate anywhere in the world.
Wow, that's great.
well, now with all the electronics available, I mean, different groups and maps, and I mean, online maps. That's, you know, a lot easier.
Definitely.
A very talented computer engineer developed the iOverlander app, which is a downloadable system that you can operate through with Maps.me.
Oh.
And iOverlander has been our Bible. Thank you, Sam. He created it. He was driving the same type of vehicle we were a year or so ahead of us.
Oh, wow.
And by the time we got into doing our thing, we already knew how to navigate. So that iOverlander app, you plot out your trip. Some days we get up. First of all, we get up. We never do anything until we have our coffee. And we might drive for an hour a day. We might drive for 5 hours a day.
Or not at all. Not at
Or
all.
not at all. And we never
We're very
ever.
slow travelers.
That's okay.
We made a rule that we never ever drive at night. I trust my driving very well. I'm pretty capable. But I don't know this country, and I don't know their roads, and I don't know their nighttime laws. They're different than daytime laws. So we don't want to disrespect and get ourselves in trouble. And we find a place by 4 o'clock. I'm telling her it's time to find a place.
Perfect.
And we can literally, sometimes we know ahead of time where we want to shoot for. But if we don't get there, well, we start looking for someplace else. Option number 2. There's
That's
always
great.
plan B.
You guys are flexible, and I think that's important.
Yes.
A lot of times when a couple people are traveling, one has an idea of exactly how it's going to be, and that's how it's going to be, and if it doesn't happen, then there is no flexibility, and then there's the arguments, and
Well, I think that having a van or a truck or whatever, your home with you, is the big advantage, because you can just stop wherever you are. You can cook your meal, have a good night's sleep, and continue the next day.
I agree.
Actually, the
But
biggest,
now we're learning a new way, like here in Istanbul.
the biggest
so-
stress might be looking for a decent coffee ground to make good coffee with.
There you go.
South America's coffee is not as it's questionable in some places because they have different styles of coffee.
Oh, sure.
So I would always be searching for that coffee bean that I can't find.
So let's go over some extremes. What's the craziest thing that you guys have encountered since you've been on the road that you just thought, this is just crazy? I can't believe we're seeing this or experiencing this. What's something crazy that happened to you guys?
Well,
Running into a herd of bulls in the middle of a road, and you're on some high mountain road, and you go around a corner, and there'll be a ton of bulls, and here comes a tremendously big truck the other way.
Ooh.
And you're sitting there admiring these bulls, hoping you can get around them, through them, or let them move, and then you'll see some guy coming in a big truck, and they move. So otherwise, I mean.
yeah, driving through the Andes has been pretty crazy, especially the northern part of Peru, which is less visited. Has some crazy roads, but
or going down a road in Costa Rica, we were following a road, and all of a sudden the road ended, and it was a small little village, and this river was there.
Oh my gosh.
And there were these tiny little barges sitting there, and it was like, what? is this? And they're like, you just drive on the barge and they take you down the road for a couple pesos or whatever.
Oh my
Actually,
gosh.
that was in Lake Titicaca.
No, I'm talking way back when we took the grandkids.
Oh, yeah,
with
in
us.
Guatemala.
And my truck was 6 tons.
Ooh.
And to see this piece of board
Oh,
as a
no.
barge with a little Yamaha engine, and the guy's looking at me going, yeah, okay. He doesn't know if you'll fit or not.
Oh,
So you
no.
kind of have to take things as it goes.
Ooh.
And we literally ended up driving onto this, because it was a 4-hour drive back the other way, and it was through jungle. And it was not going to be, we had to do what we had to do.
That's a big risk.
So we took the grandkids, and by the time, it was a 40-minute ride down on this barge just to get to the other side of
Oh,
the
wow.
road. Or you go in Costa Rica again, go down a road where there is no barge, and the road just goes down into the river, and the other side, the roadway starts over there, so you literally have to drive down the river. And am I going to sink? Or
Right.
But you see other people do it, so you just do it.
You just trust trust people and trust,
Just go for it.
just go for it. Hope for the best.
So, has anybody ever messed with you guys or stolen your stuff or broken anything? Have you been pretty lucky all these years, or?
Knock on wood. The only hazards we've run into are what we put in our head. Otherwise, no.
Okay.
From Mexico down.
Wow.
We drove through. We took a ferry from Mazatlan, the Baja to Toclabampo, to get off the ferry, and drove through Sinaloa, the state of Sinaloa. A cop stops us as soon as we get off the barge and tried to give us this, you're speeding. We were sitting at a red light.
Oh, for crying out
He
loud.
shook us down for about 15 minutes, but again, we had learned from other people.
Yeah, they're called shakedowns
Oh.
in Overlander lingo.
And mind you, we had a Florida tag, so we're Estados Unidos, we're United States.
Yeah, yeah.
I think in that time I had a Beatles. I had found this license plate for the front of my Let It Be or something like that, So we just sat there and told the policeman, no.
Huh.
But in 5 years, we've never
Never
had to
nothing.
pay a bribe,
Wow.
got anything stolen.
That's great.
Even when
Again,
we
I
broke the
mean-
law driving, I went down a one-way street the wrong way, and we were looking for a water place to get water.
Okay.
Some countries you have to get water from water stations. Otherwise, you drink it right out of the tap.
Right.
We would always just ask people, if you drink the water, I can drink it. So and a policeman stops me and he's trying to tell me, you're going to get a ticket. I'm going, where's the water place? Finally, he just said, it's around the corner. Honestly, you'll hear stories, but we didn't run into any problems.
I think the biggest surprise is we just realized how people are nice.
Yeah, and honest.
How we all want the same things, and whether you're in a very remote area, the more remote area, the nicer the people are. A big city is a big city, whether you're in Lima, Peru, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Istanbul. There's areas where you're not supposed to go, so we don't go.
You see drivers put their country flags and stuff on, and like the Swiss, they have their beautiful Red Cross, but actually the people think that you look like you're from the Red Cross. They don't know Switzerland from Ireland, and
Oh, wow.
they don't know the United States from Zimbabwe.
Oh,
they
my gosh.
really don't.
Wow.
They're either Norte Americanos or, especially in the South Americas, they really don't know
Wow.
where Europeans or Americans. You're just North Americans. or
Well, we're talking
foreigners.
about rural areas.
Well,
Of
even
course,
even in city, we love to visit the city. So we would park our rig maybe an hour or so out of Mexico City, for instance. Leave it at a place where we could leave it for a week or so, and then take the local train or bus into the main city. Have a place booked already.
Wow.
And we would just stay there. Guatemala City as well. We were able to drive into Guatemala City because we had friends there. But Bogota, Colombia, we drove right into Bogota, Colombia because we needed some work done on our vehicle.
Okay.
And we didn't even have a place to stay. A guy where I was getting my truck fixed, said, "You need a place? My wife is the manager of the Holiday Inn," and okay, so
Yeah, our biggest hurdle when we're in the city is our truck is so big we don't
big.
fit in parking lots that have a height restriction.
Right, right,
So that's
right.
always a little hard to find a place, but yeah, we always something always comes up and everything's fine.
I'd always worry about leaving my truck somewhere and going out and worried about somebody breaking in while I was
did
gone.
You don't. And I had all the securities in Mexico. I had this special tinting. Guadalajara, I had a friend, and he got me this security. You could shoot at the window, wouldn't you know? And
Wow.
I'm thinking, okay, I had a special plug that you could unplug the vehicle, and literally you can't start. It's dead
Nice.
unless you have the plug. It's called
But
Ripalco.
yeah, at the beginning, I think we thought we were going to Mars because.
But in
I mean,
reality, we
you know,
really just.
the thing is that you don't need much. If you have a car, you can do it within your car. It doesn't matter the vehicle. It's just go and.
And if you're
enjoy-
paying somebody to park your rig in their parking lot, they feel responsible.
Oh, sure.
Honestly, there's integrity is very, very important. They really don't want you to have a problem. We had more problems with mice getting in our engine compartment than somebody trying to break into
Oh,
our
wow.
truck.
That's pretty funny.
I left my truck. We were on our way to the Galapagos, and we parked it at a camp, a hostel place. Beautiful, nice place, which was a hotel, but he let us park on his property and stay in our rig. And we parked it there, and I ran into some friends just before we left, and lo and behold, I left my truck completely open. It was unlocked.
Unlocked.
So our some Canadian friends of ours that were following back and forth around, we would run into them in two
Different
or three.
countries.
They came to that place, and they saw our truck, and he tried the door and it was open, so they decorated it with Christmas stuff
And send us a picture.
and sent us a picture.
Jeez.
Like, you know, Joe, the big security guy, you left your truck open, and they locked it for us, by the way.
Nice. Nice.
So when we came back from the Galapagos, my truck was decorated with tinsel and
gosh.
Christmas decorations.
You're lucky.
No,
Lucky.
because it was on his property. It was not gonna. There was no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
I have never heard anything good about Turkey living in the U.S. And many people had asked me, is it safe? What's Turkey like? What can you tell people about Turkey from your experience?
Oh my God! I mean, I had heard a little bit about Turkey, but it was never like on my top 5 places to visit. And the opportunity to come. I mean, I was just blown away by the beauty of the city, how friendly the people are. The food, I mean, it's safe. I've been walking by myself in our neighborhood at night. I don't feel any discomfort at all. I mean, I'm really surprised.
This is a city of 15 million. We're in a very heavily, because of the Galata Tower behind us and what was called Constantinople here. This is the historical part. We generally like to stay in the historical parts of the cities. I can tell you, and I had been in Turkey a long time ago in my Air Force careers, a very remote part of Turkey. So it was kind of a thing for me to come back. I had been with the Kurdish people, and I knew Turkish culture a bit, and I love their chai and their food. So Istanbul to us was like, okay, now we're really going to be in like Manhattan, you know, like Fifth Avenue type of stuff. So it's just turned out to be absolutely everything we planned for and more.
Wow.
You will gain some weight if you come to Istanbul or if you come to Turkey. There is nothing that is bad here food-wise. I have never
my
seen.
And
gosh,
the
the
other
food's
thing
good.
that's very surprising is how well the public
Yeah.
transport is. Taking the ferry, the bus, the metro.
Right.
All you need is a card that you can refill.
Yep.
And you know, as long as you have a map and you know a little bit where you're going, people are willing to help you. to find your station. So
we
it's,
take the public buses. We don't, because of COVID, we thought we would just taxi around. But during the week, as you know, it gets crowded on the weekends because everybody's off work and stuff. I don't know. It just seems more crowded. So we kind of lay low. But during the week, we go everywhere, and we get on public transportation, and everybody's masked up. And it's no problem.
And
you just learn to trust, and you ask directions.
And the ferry system is incredible.
Yeah.
Going from the Europe side to the Asian side.
Yes.
For 30 cents.
Yes.
And we were very lucky that when we arrived here, we had a friend that had been here almost 3 months.
Oh.
So she showed us the ropes.
Perfect.
And that really got us going. And,
Yeah, as I said, Jose we have met so many wonderful people. One of our friends is Overlandia America, a lovely Venezuelan and Russian couple.
Nice.
We helped them out when they came back from South America. They unloaded their truck in my son's property in Florida. So we're friends forever. And every time somebody goes somewhere, they'll send you a message and say it's really cool here. You should try it. And if they say it's cool, it's cool.
That's great.
So
yeah,
that's what we do.
I think that the travel community is just incredible. We have more friends than we ever had before.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, when we were overlanding, we met so many lifelong friends, and we would meet them in one country and then see them 6 months later, and we just keep in contact, and it's just wonderful.
We're going to go to Bodrum on the coast.
Okay.
We're leaving here in a few days to go to Cappadocia to go in the balloons and spend a few days in that beautiful part of it.
You bet.
And then from Cappadocia, we'll fly from here to Cappadocia, fly from Cappadocia to Izmir.
Yep.
Do a little thing in Izmir, see what that's like. Then rent a car in Izmir, and we're going to start driving through Turkey.
Oh, wow.
I got to drive Turkey a little bit. So we have another friend, a fella that I had worked with in Afghanistan, who's a Northern Irishman in my kind of work, and he bought a condo there, and his wife, and when he retired, he lives in Bodrum now. They just got their Turkish residency.
Nice.
So we have a friend to visit there and a place to stay.
Perfect.
But we'll see. Maybe we'll stay with them for a few days and look for an Airbnb and stay. You take as much advantage of how much time you have in a place as you possibly can.
Yes.
And it's nice to have friends places. And now we have friends in Namibia, South Africa. We have friends in Australia. We have wonderful friends in Switzerland and Germany and England and so on.
So would you say your life was boring before you traveled?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, we had a great life. We just wanted to try a different lifestyle. And of course, traveling is always high on the priorities when you retire. But it's, how can we travel that is affordable for us and comfortable?
Right.
We're a little older. So that's when the overlanding idea came in.
Yeah.
But now we're finding out that okay, we don't have a vehicle, but it's still possible through Airbnbs, and we don't need much.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you one quick story. We were running through Lake Titicaca area in northern Peru, in the highest lake in the world, and we were in that area, and we had been invited. That was owned by a Belgian guy. No, a guy from Holland. Where is ZZ from?
Well, he's from Peru, but his father was Dutch.
Dutch fella. His wife is Peruvian. The father owned this beautiful ranch, and they raised horses. Jose loves horses, so he invited us to go and stay on his property. We got there, and we had an unfortunate accident. She went out to take a look at a stallion, and the stallion freaked, and he literally bit Jose's half of her ear off. A horrible bite, horse bite.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm in my camper. We had just camped up. Fortunately, we were with a Turkish fellow in his camper, married to a girl from my hometown, Philadelphia. And they
Wow.
followed us there. And my camper is, I could set up really quick, but going down to leave, it's a little bit more, takes maybe 20 minutes. Fortunately, his truck was capable of slipping out of his camper.
Oh, wow.
So we got Jose stabilized. The poor fella that owned the ranch wasn't there. He was in the town. And the town was another, say, we do kilometers, another 15 kilometers away. So we had to get Jose stable. We had to find somewhere to get her.
Right.
Drive the dirt road to 3 kilometers to the main road to get her into the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
Or something. She's bleeding profusely. There's no ear there. She's
Whoa.
dazed. And he met us. He was coming back. He met us, turned us around, took us to a private clinic. She spent 5 hours on the table getting stitched up internally
Whoa.
and externally. Guy did a wonderful job. And then he said, I've gone as far as I can go. You need within 48 hours to go to La Paz, Bolivia, the main city. He goes, Bolivia, we were on the border. Or go to Lima, Peru, to a major hospital where they could get emergency plastic surgery.
Oh, my gosh.
I elected to just say, well, we're going to keep our truck on your property. Fortunately, our visa was good for 6 months. We had just literally gotten for the vehicle. So we
It
flew
was
to
actually good for
a year. That's
yeah.
right.
Wow.
So we flew from there 2 airplanes to get to Lima. We got to Lima and flew a direct flight back to Miami, where we took her right to the hospital.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
the surgeon at the hospital said the guy did everything. And the cost of her getting patched up in Puno, Peru was less than $150.
Wow.
And he spent 5 hours working
Oh,
on
my
my wife.
gosh.
And he couldn't have done a better job.
Wow.
So that's,
That's scary.
an unfortunate accident. Then we came back to get our truck 6 months later when she was able to travel again and was done her surgery to go get our truck and continue on our journey.
Right.
We ended up staying with Zeze and Gabriella,
Huh.
who we fell in love with. They're wonderful people. We stayed on their ranch for another 2 months because it was just a nice place to be.
Nice.
And then we traveled on to Bolivia and so on. So yeah,
Cool.
those kind of things. Just when it happens, it happens.
Right. Right. You can't control it. All right, so we need to close it up. It's starting to get a little bit dark, so we're going to lose our daylight. So if you guys get a chance, please check out their blog. It's Joe and Josie's Journey. And thank you so much, you guys. And it was nice to come up here and experience this and meet you guys. And I hope to
Sure.
spend a little bit more time with you guys today
Sure.
later. So
Yes.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you,
Explore
Vern.
more. Don't be afraid. Just do it.
there you go. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.